Dallas, things to thank you. Things to look out for. Because of what I do right now, I have access to like information that normal people won't have access to. So I can share some of those things to look out for when you're trying to get a job and things like that. I'll share some, talk about a little bit about cybersecurity. That's a growing area. It's very hot, and I'll share a little bit about that. I'll talk about searching for a job and the process, interviewing and landing that dream job or changing a job, especially in IT. And I'll talk about going on the job. Then we'll take questions. So those are the things topics I want to go through. So about me, quickly, my name is Sheon Olanipekun, but I go by Emmanuel professionally. So if you search for me on LinkedIn, you're not going to see Sheon Olanipekun, you see Emmanuel. And I was very strategic with that. When I got my first job, Emmanuel is my middle name anyway. So I just changed it because I got into consulting. My first job was a consulting gig, and it was just a big deal. Like, oh, Sean, Oluwaseun, spell your name. I didn't want to start going through all that bias. It's not as if people have different opinions about it, but I just felt, when you go to a new client, number one, I came from Nigeria anyway, so my accent is not an American accent. So I just wanted to remove some things that will allow people to start asking me questions. So, and that name has stuck with me for more than 10 years now, and I've been using it, so that works. So I go by Emmanuel Olanipekun. Right now, I'm the VP of Operations of Spirion Technology Dallas. I don't use CEO. That's all strategic. I can explain that later. I remember I had a lunch with a guy recently, one of the VPs of one company here, one of our clients. That was 3 weeks ago. And he was like, oh, so who is the owner of Spirion? I said, well, I'm the VP. He said, no, who is the owner? I said, well, I'm the VP, I run the office, so it's my company. And it was so short because he was expecting to see a white person. For me, I was just being strategic why I use VP. As far as I'm concerned, VP, CEO, things like that is still the most important thing is to make impact. So that's why I use VP of operations, meaning I cover everything anyway. I put my professional email address there. I'm sure Mr. King can share this slide if you want to share it so you can have my contact details. I put my LinkedIn profile there for those that want to connect with me on LinkedIn. I put the Spirion website there. So why you might want to take note of this website is from time to time we post our jobs that we have. So we use a system called Bullhorn for those that have been trying to get jobs. Maybe you've seen Bullhorn. When we get those jobs, if we post those jobs in Bullhorn, we have an integration that leads to LinkedIn, that leads to Indeed, that leads to Dice. So our jobs go to those job sites and also to our website. So, for example, if you go to our website now, you see some jobs there. Every morning, I try to make sure we update them. Sometimes we get so busy that we don't update all of them, but we can't even update all the jobs we have right now that we're trying to fill, because it's going to take someone to just be updated on updating jobs. So that's part of what we do. About my experience, I have about 15 years in IT. I think I got my first IT job in 2005 when I went for doing my internship. I have 7 years in independent consulting. I'll explain why I'm pointing out this. And Mr. King knows my story very well, so I'm going to be taking you back. I'm sure he has forgotten some things, so I'll be reminding him of some battles that we fought together to get here. I have 2 years in staffing and recruiting. 2 years in that. My educational background, I have a master's in IT. I actually met Mr. King when I was doing my master's in UCD 2011, 2012. Mr. King finished way back. So we connected. I'm going to share that story of how we connected. Not as if I just want to see where we are coming from and what we can learn, especially what Mr. King is doing, integrating Nigerians, particularly trying to make us grow. This is not the first time he's doing it. I met him doing this, and I'm a product of what he's been doing. So I don't know if you want to clap for him wherever you are. I'm a product of his passion. He has a passion for developing people. And even today, when I was putting together this slide, I was just thinking of people, and I can start mentioning names. And I was counting like maybe 10, 15 people that all of us were together then, that we grew under him, all of us getting to corporate America and going and just growing on them. And he's been a mentor, he's still a mentor, and so I'll share that story. So I have a bachelor's in computer engineering from OAU. I decided to list these certifications not to make anybody feel intimidated. No, I think I still have some other certifications that I've not listed, but I'm this intentional, because part of what I want to share is growth. What I've noticed is, because I'm into recruiting now, I talk to so many people, Nigerians, non-Nigerians, Americans, and I realize that people settle down so much when they get that job, especially when they start making six figures. You notice that for the past 5 years, they've not developed themselves. It's the same thing. And the way IT moves very fast. So if you're not developing yourself, if you're not doing something consistently to improve on yourself, you might be left out. So I just put these certifications there. I have a PMP. I took that training. I have a Scrum Master certification. I have SAP certification. I share this certification with Mr. Aki. I know this is one of the toughest certifications that we got. He pushed me to get this certification, and that's why I got it. That was in 2012 that I did that exam. It's probably my most cherished certification. I do Workday. Workday is a cloud-based HR system for those that have seen it. So I do the integrations part of Workday. That's the technical part of Workday. So I have all the certifications that has to do with technical part of Workday, integrations, advanced integrations. I have third-party payroll. So for those, if you're working and maybe if you don't notice, maybe you are using ADP, you get paid from ADP or other vendors. There's a way those systems connect. So I configure those systems. So that's third-party payroll. Then we have benefits for those of us that have insurance through our company that we work. There's a way those insurance companies get your details and things like that. So I do the integrations. I create those APIs for them, for those systems to connect. I do BI, Business Intelligence Reporting Tool. Then I do Workday Payroll. Workday Payroll is when if Workday is your system of record and they pay you from Workday, there's a way they have to configure that. Most times we just get paid. All you know is you get paid, and my pay is working and is the right amount. But there is a lot going behind the scenes, especially when you have a company like, for example, Walmart. Walmart uses Workday. Google uses Workday. Most of the top companies are 100,000 employees, and they have to get paid the right amount, the right deductions, 401k, retirement benefits, things like that. So it takes a lot to put those systems working. It's amazing how much American companies invest in their employees. I'm saying this because of Workday, I kind of have an idea of what goes on in HR. That's part of what brought me into staffing. I see how much companies invest in people. I was in a project, besides, I remember when I was traveling to Pennsylvania. That project was $200 million for their HR for that year. In fact, when I was traveling there every week to Pennsylvania, one day I went for lunch, then I met the VP of IT. That was in 2015. The guy happened to move from Dallas. So because he moved from Dallas, being a Cowboy fan and being, if you know Pennsylvania very well, they like Eagles and Cowboys, the history. So the guy just liked me and he was telling me that even though they have spent $200 million, I don't want to name the company, it's a popular company that some of us know, even though they had spent $200 million in HR, in IT, that was around October, November, they had $120 million IT budget that they had not spent, that they had to spend, because if they didn't spend that money, they were going to lose it in their next budget for the next year. So that just got me thinking that, oh my goodness, these people have so much money, and you'll be shocked how much they have the money to spend, especially big companies. So if we have ideas for them, no matter how simple you think those ideas are, some of these companies need those ideas. So if we have ideas, and that meeting with that man, I see is on my LinkedIn contacts. I still exchange emails with him when I was trying to get into that company, because they just have a Dallas office that they just opened. So I'm working towards being a vendor for them in Dallas. But that really inspired me that, man, there's a lot. You'll be shocked, like Mr. Aki said, if you're not into management or if you're not close to management, you just be doing your job. You won't know what goes on behind the scenes. A lot of these companies have a lot to offer if they find the right resource. And I will explain that. So these are my professional certifications. My story, interesting. So 2011, I got into UTD to have my master's. I was doing my master's in IT management. Being an international student then, I knew that I had to do more to get the job. If you've gone through that process, and that's why my story with Mr. Aki, we kind of follow the same pattern. If you've gone through that process, you understand that you need someone to sponsor you when you're done with your master's. So I needed to get a good job. I needed to get a job that I was going to get sponsorship. So, I was always worried then. And, then I think US was just coming out of recession. So people always complain, no job and all that. So I was just looking for things to do. Part of my curriculum in school was SAP. So I was following the SAP track and the BI track. So one of my friends then just told me that, there's someone taking SAP training. His name is Akin. So I got Mr. Akin's number. So I called him. I think I called you like 4 or 5 times. And I dropped voice messages. I sent him text messages. Then one night, he called me. And he used to travel then. And I'm explaining this so that some of us, one of the things I put out in this slide is to be open, to be flexible. He used to travel every week then. Nowadays, I see some people call me, and because I didn't respond immediately, they feel I'm trying not to. No, it's not that. Sometimes there's just too many people pulling. But once in a while, when I'll just look at my contact. Okay, I need to make these calls. So I think that's what happened. Now I feel your pain then. So he called me eventually that day. And I'll be sincere with you. I don't know if I've told you, sir. That night, I laid on my bed for more than maybe 3 hours, and I could not sleep. Why? Because it was as if my eyes opened. I was so challenged. I was so inspired. And I'm sharing this because I know a lot of us here maybe are in different phases, and maybe this will touch someone, that anything is possible. I was working in my school cafeteria then, $7.50. That was my salary. But Mr. K was just telling me about, this, and he was laying down the plans of what to do. And that started our relationship. And since then, he's been my mentor. Every step, professional step, even personal step that I want to take, I always run it by him. When I wanted to start Skillweed, and I called him up that this is what I'm planning to do, we brainstormed about it. Sometimes when I'll just be like, I'm not coming in a long time. I'll just call it by them, Starbucks. Can we just meet up in Starbucks just to share ideas? Because you need to build a network of people that you can get inspired talking to them. Sometimes people feel money. No, it's not about people giving you money. You need that inspiration sometimes. And for me, even when we started Skillweed, it took almost 2 months to get first person to come work for me. I needed to get a business development manager. And I was very intentional. I needed a white person to do the business development part. And I kept calling Mr. Kip. So said, nobody wants to work with me, because most times when you want to interview them, by the time they get on Zoom and they see, they'll be like, who is this person? Which is normal. But he kept pushing me that, don't worry, by the time you build, you won't be the one chasing them. They will start chasing you. So that's my relationship with him that we started 10 years ago. So so what he's doing now is not new. He's been doing this, and I can count off my head. I can count like 15 people. I don't want to call names, but Yemi won't mind. I saw Yemi just going through. I think Yemi is a product. Yemi, I don't know if Yemi wants to identify himself, but I saw. So that we took those trainings together, I think 2012. So I took the SAP training, like I said, with Mr. K. But remind me, I was an international student. I'm trying to rush because of time, and I could not get a job. I was not even allowed to work outside then. So I was just getting trained. Some of my friends after I took my training, some of my friends that were graduating before me told them that, you guys need to come and take this training. Mr. K knows the 2 guys I'm talking about. They took the training, they were graduating, they got a job. They got the 2 of them got jobs immediately with the same company. I think they were starting with 95,000 or something. That was in 2012. First job. Imagine first job, 95. They were shocked. In fact, one of them became a manager within 2 years, less than 2 years. And right now, I think he's one of the, I can't remember his position. He's with IBM now. He's a global something. Last time we talked with IBM. So that's maybe when Mr. K is available, when he's available, Mr. K, I don't want to mention his name. Mr. K can also bring him. And I know people like that we all came through that training, through that process. But I didn't just do this SAP training because I could not work. Mr. K called me again as Cheung. There was a day I was coming from, I don't know if you can remember, but I can remember. Mr. K will not remember. I used to take the train and the bus. I was staying in Richardson. We were taking that training in Avenue K. So I used to take 451. 451 is the name of the bus to Avenue K. It's 1 hour from Richardson to Plano, riding the bus. And when I came down that morning, Mr. K was just like, don't worry, Shio. don't worry. I've been to what you're talking about. I've been going through this. Don't worry. This will. I didn't say I just had that passion that, I just had to be successful here in US. I had to get a job. I had to get into the system. So when I finished the SAP training, Mr. Akin called me. He said, "Chion, come and do IT audits." I'm sharing it because I've seen a lot of people that go through different trainings and they give up. Oh, I did SAP. Oh, I did Scrum. Sometimes you might need to do 2, 3, but you'll be shocked how you know so much. Because by the time I took SAP, I did IT audit training again. In school, I did SAP, I did BI, then I took Java, I did database. So by the time I finished, I didn't even get an SAP job. I didn't get an IT job when I finished school. But because I had done SAP, which actually pushed me then to get the certification, it was called Step 10. That is 2 weeks intensive studying to get that exam. So I took, that was my goal for that summer. I got that Step 10 certification. Then I took cloud computing as part of my master's. So I was just looking for a job, but one guy just saw my resume online and he called me. He said, "Oh, you know SAP, you know cloud. We don't need an SAP person. We have Workday." Then Workday was new. Workday is also in the cloud competing with SAP. So we need people that have the SAP experience to convert into Workday. And that's how I got into Workday. So why am I saying this? Because most of the trainings we take, sometimes you feel like, oh, it's just a waste of time, or they just took my money. I've heard all sorts. And unfortunately, some of us Nigerians, we abuse some of these privileges that people give. I've heard all sorts. For me, I didn't even get the SAP job. Mind you, my friends got the SAP job, but I got Workday. But why I was able to get Workday was because of the trainings that I had taken in SAP, the IT audit training, the cloud that I took, and that led me to work. And even when I became a consultant, I remember there was a time I was in a project and the director was like, "Oh," so I was just talking to the director of HR. So I asked him that, "What do you guys do about your Workday environments, audit and all that?" He said, "Oh, we don't have to do anything." I said, "Do you know what they do delivery assurance, because they do refresh twice a year. So there's some processes that you need to do to make sure you are in compliance with Workday." Why was I giving that discussion? Because I took IT audit training and I could relate it to the Workday environment. Do you know, we were in that meeting, the next meeting we did after that, auditors from Deloitte came and they were asking the director of IT, director of HR, "So what do you guys do for Workday? How do you guys maintain your compliance in Workday?" Do you know what the director said? He said, "Oh, we have a consultant in the house, Emmanuel. That is what he handles for us." I was on that project for 4 years just because of, so it wasn't my Workday experience that came out. It was the IT audit experience that I took, training that I took in 2012. This happened in 2015. But because I already had the audit, I could relate that, okay, they had to be doing compliance, even though I was a Workday consultant. So I'm just saying this so that you know, no matter what training you're taking, there's no knowledge that is lost. I know some people have taken so many trainings. I don't advise you taking too many anyway. But no matter what you've done, no matter what training you're going through, there's always something to learn. And by the time you get that job, you'll notice you know about so many things that you can, when you're talking, you can talk as if you worked in so many areas and you can relate everything together, see how the whole architecture and see how they work. So that's been my relationship with Mr. Kim. He's still a mentor any day. I call him a lot. So whenever I'm trying to do something I need to go, I'll just say, "Excuse me, can we just talk about this, share ideas?" And I'm so glad with what he's doing. This is like a calling for him. Not everybody has the passion to see people grow. I don't know how he does it, but it's a calling that some people have. And I just appreciate what you're doing. And I pray God will continue to bless you to do more. So I got into Workday Consulting, doing that job. So I left that job in 2015 because I couldn't move. I had a non-computer and I couldn't move. So I wanted to move after 2 years of working with them. Mr. Kim knows the story. So I left to another company. I was getting almost 50,000 raise. So it was a no-brainer. So I left. And when I left, so they had a company with the company that I left. And that was how they were pushing that, "Oh, Emmanuel, you have to come back. Or if you don't come back, we're going to sue you and all that." So I just said, "You know what? I was going to do independent consulting." I remember when I talked to Mr. K that, "You know what? I think I'm going to do it." I was still scared. And so it was like, the way he said it to you, but it was like, so Kilombe level. Kilombe level, like, we're expecting a baby, and things like that. Where he just said, well, save. He asked the question. He said, how long will it take you to get another job if you want to get another job? And I said, I know what day. 3 weeks, 1 month, I'm sure I'll learn something. So yeah, he said, save for 3 months. If the independent doesn't work out, get back into full-time. 2015 was the April was the last time I did a full-time job. I don't know how I've been doing it. So I took that step and I've been doing that. So I was doing independent consulting. I'm trying to lead this to how I go into staffing. And being an independent consultant, you talk to recruiters a lot. They call you a lot. Then you realize, number one, they are lowballing you. Some people will call you, they'll say they'll submit your resume. You see the good ones and you see the bad ones. And part of what I've seen is most times it's Indians that are calling. So even the barrier is there, the bias is there already. I've seen where the Indian they will take your resume, change my name, and submit their own candidates. They did that to me. When they did that, it was the manager that they submitted to that said, no, this is Emmanuel's resume. The manager was so sure. I worked with them. I did a project with them. He was so sure. So he was the one that called me, that Emmanuel, I'm seeing your resume around, but not your name. So those are some of the reasons why I started thinking of it, that why exactly is it that all the staffing agencies, 80% of them are Indian-owned agencies? So that had been on my mind for a long time. Then Mr. Key is my mentor. Just as he's my mentor, I have people too that, by the grace of God, I mentor them. They always look up to me that, oh, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. You talk to some people and you just be as if I should just take the job and give to them. You see people that are very intelligent, talented, maybe they don't know what to do or they are interviewing, but it's one thing to be skilled in, to learn that skill. It's another thing to know how to interview. It's another thing to know how to position yourself so that recruiters can see you. So those are some of the things that were just on my mind for a long time that I decided to go into recruiting. So when I wanted to start speaking and I told Mr. K about it, we talked about it, we shared ideas, he introduced me to some people, he sent mails out that, okay, this is what my brother is doing. It was a bit challenging, but right now we have about 15 clients that we're working with. In our office, we have 4 people plus me, that means 5. So I'm the only black person in my office. All of them are white. Not by my design, but it's just how things work. We are trying to open, I was telling Mr. K about, we are trying to open an offshore office because of the amount of recruiting we have to do. We don't have the, and also it's a business move. So we are talking to some folks in Manila, Philippines, or India. Hopefully we can make a decision before the end of the month to know who to go with. So we're trying to open. And so part of why I'm sharing this is sometimes when they call you, you think they're calling you from US. The people calling you are not in US. They're in India or Manila. But you won't know. They call with the US number. There's a way around it. They call with the US number and they work US time. So you need to understand how to relate with them. And so that's where we are right now with Spirion. So I want to share, so that's just my story. And I share that so that you know, I don't know, maybe you're into IT or you're just getting into IT. Everything is doable. I like what Mr. K is doing a lot, especially in cybersecurity, because it's a platform for us to grow. I have a client, one of my biggest clients. I think I've told Mr. K about this before. It's a VMS system, meaning they have other vendors that they use. I think they have like 10 of us vendors that they use in Dallas. This is a company that recruits in their IT. They recruit 700 contractors every year. So I meet with them twice a week. I still met with them today, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So when they post their jobs out, we meet with them on Tuesday. They give us the job requirements that we should start submitting qualified resumes. And this has happened multiple times to me. They give us the requirements. My recruiters will go out and start calling people. Then they'll come back that, oh, Emmanuel, the people they're calling said they heard about this job last week. But they just told us the vendors about the job today. But by the time you go out, the candidates are telling you, oh, someone submitted me for this job. last week. Do you know why? Because the IT department of that company, 90% of them are Indians, which is normal. If Mr. Akin is the director of IT for a company, what it takes is, Sheo, I'm going to be needing 10 Java people next week. Get them for me. The job is coming out next week, but I have a head start. And that's the challenge I'm facing right now, because the Indians have, I'm sorry to say, and you can't blame them. They've positioned themselves. They've grown. Mr. Akin was talking about going into leadership. It's important that we go into leadership. One of the clients we have now, very good clients, I went to Starbucks late last year. So I was taking coffee. I was getting my coffee, and I met this guy. He was getting his coffee to Nigerian, and we talked. Oh, I said, oh, Nigerian. Oh, we talked. He was like, oh, what do you do? I said, I do staffing. So, oh, you do staffing? Oh, we need people in my company. Then he introduced me to the director of IT. I even thought it was a small company. By the time I got to my seat and I looked up his company, oh my goodness, this guy was the lead developer in his company. Mr. K, right now we've placed 7 people in that company because of him. When we placed 7 people, the person we just placed, and I'll go into cyber security, is a cyber security guy. He's starting on 23rd. We were begging this guy to take 220 per annum. That's the base. They gave him 40,000 sign-on bonus, then 40,000 in stocks. When they gave him that offer, this is the funny part. The guy said, Emmanuel, I'm not sure I want to take this job yet. Can you schedule a meeting with the director of IT? I was like, oh my goodness. I was already calculating my commission I was doing. I said, what's wrong with this guy? Please take this job. He said no. He had to talk to the director of IT. So he was reversing it. He wanted to interview the director of IT before even taking the job. The guy is a cybersecurity guy. And I was like, oh my God. So because the guy was so confident he was going to get another job as well, he interviewed the director of IT. So one of the emails I gave the director of IT is, this guy wants to know the environment is going to work. He wants to know, because when I talk to him, he wants to know people in his environment. So I told the director, I said, it might be good if you bring 2 people that he's going to be working with when he's having that final discussion. So he accepted the job anyway. That's just a side, but that company, it was that Nigerian contact I met in Starbucks that gave me that link. But look at the big client, one of the big clients I'm working with. We are strong. We've placed a few people, but I know we could have done better because it's just normal. Scrum master, when they say they need a scrum master, within 2 days, they'll get 100 resumes. It's impossible to go through 100 resumes. But if I'm a director there, and I know that I call the director that I'm submitting a day, look for an a day, because they don't allow us to, all he needs to do is look for an a day. That's why if you go to an IT firm, you see Prakesh, you see Pratik, you see Prasad, you see all of them. It's not a mistake. They are very intentional. And we need to start getting to those, because if all I need now is 10 directors of IT within Dallas alone, sincerely, I'll probably retire very soon. All we need, you can imagine what those Indians, what they've done. An average IT, I was telling someone, when an Indian comes to US, when a Nigerian comes to US, even on green card, they'll first go to Walmart, work 1 year, go to Target. When an Indian comes, they go straight to corporate America. Why? Because there is a pattern for them to follow. There's a platform. That's why I like this kind of platform. If you are new in US now, this is a good platform for you to start. You don't need to, I'm not saying it's bad to work in Walmart, no. But you don't need to. When you have a platform like this that they are teaching this kind of training. So sometimes a lot of us take this for granted. But when an Indian comes, how many Indians have you seen in Walmart working? And it's not as if they know them. I can tell you I've worked with them. Some of them are very smart. If you have 10, maybe 2 are the very smart ones. The other 8 are just tagging along. So nothing is there, no one is exceptional. We can all do the same. The problem I'm seeing is a lot of us Nigerians, how many minutes do I have, sir? Because I want to rush. We don't aspire, we just do things for ourselves. Then we don't want to move forward. Then people that are even trying to get in, I've seen a lot of entitlement mindsets. You know, sometimes when people come, oh, you're in Nigeria, my brother, I must get a job. I will try to make you get the job and submit you. But there's a responsibility from you too that you have to do. And I will share that. So areas to look into. I want to just run through. Scrum Master, Product Owner. I see a lot of Nigerians in this. It's not wrong. But I'm into recruiting, and I can tell you, I have a big client. I don't want to tell you their name. We had a meeting, I think I shared with a group that I belong to, Nigerian group that I belong to here. They told us they don't want Nigerian resumes anymore. That was in October last year. Because they had, when they said there's this, don't get me wrong, it's a good field, it pays well, but my problem is IT is too wide for all of us to stay in one area. It's too wide. And the problem I'm having is some people come out of training for 6 weeks. They get the job the 8th week. The 10th week, they start training. I don't know if you've seen that, Mr. Kimbo. I see that, and I don't know if we have time. Part of what I plan to do is I have recruiter access to LinkedIn, not the regular way LinkedIn. I have the recruiter access in the back end. I have to Dice, and I have to Indeed. I can share these platforms. If I type Scrum Master, I can tell you in the page, all you see is Nigerian names. And if I download their resumes for you, if you bring 20 resumes, I can bet with you that 5 of them are the same, just the names are different. And when these people are trying to hire, you can't fool them. They told us that don't take Nigerian resumes. I felt insulted. I was on that call. I couldn't talk because Nigerians they are bastardizing it. They come out of training. The person that just came out of training today, oh, Mr. King is training us. And we had that when we did it. Some of them did that. Mr. King trained us. Oh, he's making money. I want to start training. You don't even have the experience. You're still shaking. Then you're training. That's why they keep churning out unnecessary, half-baked candidates. And you're not only spoiling the job for yourself, you are spoiling the job for so many people. Right now, I can tell you, if I have my way, I don't have a problem. If you're not too technical and you want is a good area, especially if you can work hard and you can submit your resume and you're open, you will still get a job. But if I have my way, I'll tell you to do something different or build on that. Don't just do, I see too many Scrum Masters around. I have a problem with it right now. I'm talking from what I see from the back end. Some people get jobs, don't get me wrong. But if you look at the amount of people that are into it compared to how if you can just do more. I thought, why must you be a Scrum Master? Why not a product owner? It's almost the same thing. But why not just do product? Because Nigerians have it feels as if that's all we can do. And there's more that we can do. Project management is a good area. Cybersecurity is awesome. I shared something with Mr. K last week. I'm going to share it. I tried it, very good. Network engineering, CCNC. I don't always advise people to go into network engineering anymore nowadays. If you're starting from scratch, I'll be like, just go into cloud because the world is moving. There are still people doing network security, network engineering, but whether you do cloud, because you need to move with how the technology is moving. Cloud technologies, AWS, Azure, DevOps, Google Cloud, programming, software development, React, Java, Python, iOS, Android. I invited one of my friends. I'm not sure if he's on this call. We worked together. We went to IFE together. He did his master's here. He's into software development. But one of my clients, right now, if I get 10 Java developments, I know today is Tuesday. By Friday, they'll get jobs. Minimum $80 per hour. I know that for a fact. If I get 10 Java developers right now, by Thursday, Friday, they get $80 per hour. In fact, most of the Java developers that I talk to, they are so proud, not because they know that they are in hot demand. See, for some of us, I like this platform because I'm very biased about IT because that's what I've been doing and because I've seen the system. America has done a bad job in producing IT graduates. America has done a terrible job. I mentor some kids in my church, and when they come to meet me, I try to tell them, why not do computer science or do something? America has done a bad job in producing IT graduates. If you talk to core Americans, they don't want IT. They want to do the talking parts. That's why the Scrum, the management, the business development, they don't want the IT. That means there are more IT jobs than the people available. For every IT job, for every 3 IT, maybe it's like times 2 or times 3. I know so many of my IT folks that have 2, 3 jobs. There are more IT jobs than the people available. So there are so many React. So one of my friends, I don't know if he joined, what we are doing right now is, you know how people bring, and I think, I don't know if I've told you about him, but I need to introduce him to you. Right now, he's in the process of bringing H1B folks from Nigeria. They've approved 10 of them. Hopefully, the last one is in August, and I'm working with him too. We got a lawyer here, immigration lawyer. We didn't put it up because problem is when you tell Nigerians, they say, oh, put my cousin. No. Professionals, people, because there are talents in Nigeria, people that will put very well. Is in that process of bringing 10, at least to pilots. Because right here, we don't have people here that can do the job. And these guys will come, I'll be rest assured, we will sponsor the H1B. They will get minimum $50, $60, at least to start. There are 10 of them have been approved to a level, hopefully by God's grace, by August, we'll know how to. But the Indians do that a lot. I was working with one project I was working with. This guy came from, I don't want to mention the company, one of these top Indian recruiting companies. He didn't even finish university. He had not graduated from college when they brought him in. And they trained him what to say. He said, don't ask, don't tell. So they trained him, don't talk about this. Well, look at you, they will tell them what to do. Most of those people you see, some of them they've not even done 2, 3 years in India, but they bring them in. So this, my friend, is I will introduce. I hope he's on this call. I told him to come. I'll introduce him. So because we don't have talent here, he's going to Nigeria to bring them. So application development, SAP. I just listed these areas. There's so many areas. I'm going to focus a little on cybersecurity. I'm not talking about the technical details. I'm just giving you what I see as a recruiter. If you name any company in US right now, they need cybersecurity people. Just name one. Right now, they need people. That's how so when I saw this, I shared this with Mr. Aki last week. There are 500,000 jobs, cybersecurity jobs that they are trying to fill right now, even more than that, because this one is old, that they cannot fill. Not because they don't want to fill, not because they don't want to pay, but because they don't have people that have the skill sets. And they're not asking for 10 years experience. The guy I told you about, that guy had maybe 4 years, the one that was claiming 220. He has 4 or 5 years experience in core cybersecurity. And he was so, I don't want to say it was poor, but when you're sure of yourself, he told me, he said, Emmanuel, schedule a meeting with the director of IT. I said, oh my goodness, they gave you a job. You want to interview the director again? He said, yes, in there to be sure before making that move. And they were begging him with, and I was just calculating my conscience. Please go ahead and just take this job for goodness sake. The guy said no. And I've seen, I was talking to, so I don't do more of Workday anymore because I focus more on the staffing area, And I have 3 recruiters in my office right now. Sometimes when we're trying to fill a job and they're calling people, one of my recruiters was, so when people call me now, asking me about Workday, I put it on speaker for my recruiters to hear the way I talk to recruiters, because I've been a consultant, so they can see the good ones and people that are learning, just to have an idea. So recently, one of my recruiters called a guy, and the guy just called the phone, sent him an email with a list of questions that my recruiter should fill. Mind you, we are trying to get him to get a job. And he put a calendarly invite there, look at my calendar and block time to talk to me. So then my recruiter was like, oh, Emmanuel, this guy is so proud. I said, no. I said, that is the guy to go for. He said, really? I said, yeah. Because the guy, I'm like that guy, because when they come in, I don't pick. And if I pick, you need to know what you're saying, because I know for a fact that if I do an interview, if I do 5, I'll probably get 4 of those jobs. I'm trying to tell you why you need to build that confidence and that skill set. That guy got a job. My recruiter was like, oh, I said, yeah, you need to go for people like that, because if you've taken time to build yourself, there are too many jobs out there that you don't need to panic. There are too many jobs. Cybersecurity, for example, there are too many jobs. Right now, I sent you 3 jobs last week, sir. They were trying to fill. Even here in Dallas, they are paying, the list of them is paying $75 per hour. This is an open-ended contract. No end date for the contract.
So minimum is $75. I sent to Mr. Aki. We were trying to get folks to submit. $75 per hour. Here in is even is here in Dallas. 3 last week, and we get that a lot. Sometimes when I get those jobs, I have to push it out to my Nigerian community, people I know. Then before I start reaching out, because at the end of the day, it's a business. We have to certify the client. So if I don't see people within, we have to go out. And part of what I try to do is I don't even impose those resumes on my recruiters. I send the resume, I said, talk to this person. And I've seen that. So this is part of what I want to correct. When they call them, then those recruiters tell me this person is not ready. And I've heard that a lot. This person is not ready. And I will explain that process. So one of the top areas in IT, always in demand, it requires technical skills, but it's not rocket science. That's the interesting part of it. It's not rocket science. I don't want to go into the details. I know Mr. King will talk about that, but it's not rocket science. Sometimes all it takes is that training, then you develop yourself. You get it. You don't need to get it. You might not be able to get the $200,000 job, but you get something to start, and you start building yourself. And I see this every day, and it pays very well. So I don't know how much time I have, sir, but let me just spend the next 5 minutes to walk through this. This is an important slide. Job search and interview process. Resume. I see, if I have time, when I'm done talking, if Mr. King gives me time, I'll show you LinkedIn, and I'll show you some resumes, and you will decide yourself if you want to hire them. You know, LinkedIn, there are 2 LinkedIns. You have the LinkedIn and you have the LinkedIn recruiter. I have the recruiter one. That means I can pull your resume from the back end. I have the Indeed employer version, so I can pull your resume, and same thing for Dice. If I pull you 10 resumes for Scrum Master right now, you will not give them those jobs. And you see Nigerians there. I've seen one of my recruiters said, Emmanuel, are these 2 people, this name, is this the same name? I said, no, they are 2 different names. Because the guy was confused that maybe Oluwaseun and Adewale are the same, something like that. That is it the same name? Got everything on the resume, the same. And what does it take to build a resume? Just take time. You've taken that training for 6-7 weeks. Just take your time to build that resume. Part of that resume, we're trying to hire a DevOps engineer role recently. The guy took a Nigerian interview this morning, 8:30. The guy I'm sure he's going to get the job. But when we send those emails out, I saw so many Nigerians there. I knew some of them. I could not submit some of them, basically. But because they are Nigerians, I just responded to them. I said, you might want to fix your resume. This resume is not going to work. One of them took the time to call me back and explain to him. You work with Adewale & Co. LLC Enterprises, Lagos, Nigeria. Trust me, that's a no-no. Because you have 5 years experience, 3 of them in Nigeria. When you're talking to American directors, they don't count Nigerian experience as experience. Besides, there's a difference between, so I finished from OAU. When I was looking for a job, I put Masters UT Dallas, Bachelor's, that's all. I didn't put OAU there. Now I put it, but then I didn't put OAU. Why? Don't ask, don't tell. If I have a master's, common sense should tell you that I have bachelor's. You can't get a master's without having a bachelor's. Why didn't I put OAU? I didn't want that bias. Oh, so how long have you been in Nigeria? Don't bring that question. Focus on what I can do. I'm showing you some of the ways we shoot ourselves in the leg. Some people put some companies that are ridiculous. That even I myself, I'll be like, oh my goodness, even if this is my company, I'll not hire you. They don't, when you see those trends, so take your time. Formatting, you'll be funny, I put this there. You're using Times New Roman header. You're using Psalms, the one is 12. I see that a lot. You know, if there's a, Mr. K, I don't know if you can organize a resume preparation session. It's important because some of these things, you can know it. You need to sell yourself. So even before they even start looking at it, they've already thrown your resume away. Even the recruiter has thrown your resume away before it even gets to the hiring manager. Format it, you'll be shocked. It looks simple. Then highlight your experience. Why do I care about your master's? I need a DevOps person. But your first place is all about masters. You don't even do masters in IT. Masters, economics, PhD, something. You've even bored me. By first page, I'm saying I care about DevOps. We are in an environment that is fast-paced. And those people that are looking at those resumes, they have a million things to do. The least they want to do is look at resumes. So they don't spend so much time. So once they look at it, they're moving. So those are little things. So we need to organize a resume session. I don't know how we can work that out. Make it unique. I thought this is important because we have too many people see too many resumes that look alike, which even the Indians, I'll give you an example. When I see some Indian resumes, we don't submit them because we know they're fake. And there's a way to know. There's a table that they all put in front of it. There's a table that they all put. It's by default, 80% of the time they are fake. You know, some of these things we don't know, but people that are at the back end, they see it. So you don't want that bias. So that resume, it has to be on point. Apply on job boards. If you are looking for a job, you need to be posting your resume applying for minimum 30 jobs, 20, 30 jobs every day. Once your resume is good, post them out. US, I keep telling people, US is so big. I don't wonder why Nigerians, you just want to work in Dallas. If you are going to a new area, you need to be open. Mr. How long did you travel for when you were traveling? Non-stop. I traveled for close to 3 years every week. When I started with first year, I would leave on Sunday, come back Friday evening. Then I changed to Monday morning to Thursday. I did for 3 years. There was a Nigerian that came to me one time like that. He wanted to do work day. So sorry I'm taking time, but I don't know. I'll just watch through now. He wanted to do work day. I sent it to where he took the training. He took the training. I was going to Silicon Valley then, but we just had a second baby. So I told them I couldn't come every week again. So the director said, Emmanuel, you know what? Bring in someone that will come in and be a junior developer, reporting to you. But the person has to be in San Jose. You can work from Dallas. So I called and said, oh, perfect job for you. You just need to travel. They're going to pay your travel, pay your hotel. You know what he told me? He said, but Shell, you've not been traveling now. You work from home. I want a work from home job like you. I said, oh my goodness. Do you know how many years I spent traveling? This guy was not married. That was the last time I talked to him anyway. I didn't pick because I didn't have time because it was a waste of my time. That was a perfect place for him to learn. That was a perfect place for him. He was going to be working under me. So I was going to cover all his best of if he didn't know anything. I'm sharing that because I talk to so many Nigerians now when we're trying to submit them. And the first thing they ask me is, I know when I see the resume, I know I'm a Nigerian and I've been through this. I took trainings. I know for a fact this person doesn't really have experience. Max, he has 6 months, if he has anything. And they'll be telling me they want remote. It's so annoying and painful when you're trying to help. For goodness sake, you are starting something for the first time. Be open. If they say come to work, come on site. Why? At least for that first job, first year, 6 months. Because you learn. I'll give you an example again. There was a job they called me for to come and interview for Workday. Right now, I'm not going to go anywhere. I've paid my dues, so I'm not leaving anywhere. So if you are coming from a training, 6 weeks, 2 months training, you want to interview for a remote job, you are meeting people like me there. I started Workday 2013. There's no way you get that job. I'm not boasting. You are competing against veterans that have been there. A lot of IT folks that are good now don't want to go to work. I would advise anybody that's trying to go into a new area, don't look for remote. Look for on-site. You are competing with people that are not as experienced. If you are going for remote, you might be lucky. But most times, you are competing against veterans. Most of these IT folks are good now. They don't want to go to work anymore. I'm not going to leave my house to go to anybody's place. But there was a time I was traveling. And that's why I see nowadays, and it pays me. This is hurting me so much because this happens almost every week. And they tell you remote. What's the deal with the remotes? Before COVID, nobody was working remote. Why not go to work? But you are coming from a training, you don't have the job, yet you want to work remotely. You know, we are becoming too entitled. I was telling Mr. Aki last week, are you raising your hand, sir? Because of that, okay.
No. Emmanuel, a comment. Team, we respect time. So if you need to drop, it's okay because everybody, it's so much stuff, we can't just let this go. So we will push 30 minutes more, but if you need to go, we respect it. We'll share the video recording with you all later. But please continue, Emmanuel. 30-minute extension.
Thank you, sir. So, you want to take an interview with a veteran. I would advise anybody now, Scrum Master, if you are new to that field, if you get remote, good luck. But you have I told Mr. K that job last week, it's on site, $75 per hour. That's how much they're going to pay. It's open-ended. That means there's no end date to it. The only thing is you have to come to work. I'm seeing people telling me they want remote. People that have not even worked before. I know for a fact when I see that resume, I'm Nigerian, I know how we do these things. But they will still be feeling entitled. So that's why I put it there. That I put be flexible, interview strategy. I'll talk about that. So monitor emails. Another thing is you're looking for a job, your voicemail is full. Oh my goodness. When recruiters call you, let me tell you how it works. If they need a DevOps engineer, they'll give us any DevOps engineer that knows Kubernetes, that knows Docker, that knows containerization. I'm putting my search like that. I put DevOps and Kubernetes and containerization. I'm putting things like that. And it gives me 50 people. And I looked at the 50 people, I looked at their resumes. I have to make a submission within 2 days. And I start calling. Then you call some people. I know some of us are busy, but some people's phone, your voicemail is full and you're looking for a job. And I see that a lot. There are some things that I think we take things for granted. Your voicemail cannot be full. You need to delete it. If you're looking for a job, because you don't know what you're missing. You need to be open, picking all those calls, be where you can pick calls, be available to receive calls. Be available to receive calls. Be available to receive calls. I can't stress this enough. A lot of people have missed. I've seen so many good resumes, but we call them. They'll be like, oh, I didn't know you called me, but we understand a good person. Because at the end of the day, it's business. When I see people that are good, I'm pushing them forward. Nobody's going to wait for anybody. So those are little things I've seen. Interviewing strategy, write it down. When I mean write it down, if you've been interviewing, this might not apply to you. But if you're new to interviewing, Mr. Aki knows, when I started interviewing, I wrote everything down on a board in my room. I got this from Mr. Aki. It's an insult to fail a phone interview. It's an insult. Phone interview is open book exam. So whatever you have on your resume, write it on your wall. Be reading it every day, even when you're not interviewing. Tell me about myself. Tell me about myself. They're not asking about my wife or my children. They're asking about my experience. I had that written down. I passed it to Mr. Akin then. I don't even remember, to Mr. Akin and Banks, 2012. They looked at it. They fixed it for me. That's just tell me about myself. My 30 seconds self. They fixed it for me. I had it pasted on my wall. At the point, I didn't need it again because I knew offhand. You need to write it down. Interviewing is a skill. You can have the technical skill. To sell yourself is a skill. Interviewing is a skill. Conduct mock interviews. This is one thing I see a lot of us don't do. Some people feel, I've taken the training, I'm not ready to interview. No. Have a group of people that you conduct interviews with. One of my friends that got the job with EY, it became a manager within 2 years. We were taking interviews in our room, we were students then. We would take interview, I'll be like, oh, you missed this one. Oh, you missed it. But have a group of people like myself. Conduct mock interviews. You see, the only way to get better is to do something. So you need to record your interviews. This is important. If you are starting afresh, this is the first time in an area. When I first started Workday, or even then I was interviewing for SCP, I used to record my interviews. You know why? When I recorded those interviews, and this has worked because I've told a lot of you to do this. Record that. Maybe you have an interview with, let's say, Coca-Cola or PepsiCo. You might get that, you might not get it, but record it. This is why you need to record it. When you play it back, you'll be shocked how you talked. Oh my goodness, this is me. I could have done better than this. Record it, start taking notes of the mistakes you did. There's no person to judge you than yourself. I always say, record your interviews. Mr. King, we had interviews that they were always playing then, 2012, that I could run an interview often because we had recorded some interviews. I don't know if you still do that, but that is important. Record your interviews. You might not everything, but the one you do, record it. I can bet you with you. If you record an interview and you play it again, if you take that interview next time, you'll be better. Interviewing is a skill. What I've seen is people get jobs if they are able to cross that interviewing space and they stop interviewing. You don't stop. I interview almost every week. Not because I just like it, because the more you do something, the better you are. Now, when I'm interviewing, you can't be asking me questions. I'll be the one asking, oh, so what kind of environment do you guys want? Because I'm so confident about it. You master it. The best way to be better at interview is to interview. So you continue, you record, you take notes, you share with your folks, your people that you have conduct mock interview sessions. Because by the time if you do 2, 3, you become confident. Mr. King did so many mock interviews. I don't know if he still does that now. I know he's busy and he did so many mock interviews for us then. I fumbled so many times. But it's a process. What I've seen is a lot of people want to jump. It's a process. So you have the skill, you've learned the skill. How to get the job is different. Know your resume. You can see if you can see my screen, know your resume. It's funny because I see this every time. Oh, you work with XYZ company. Tell me about their technology stack. Oh, then you start asking questions. You wrote it on your resume. See, they're going to ask everything on your resume. So there's no excuse. And I see this a lot. People just put it, maybe copied it from somewhere. I don't even have a problem with that. You copied it from somewhere, you pasted it. It will show from the formatting that you copy different things, number one. Because this one, you copy this one from one resume, you copy this one use times New Romans 12, this one use Common Sans 13. By the time you see it, even you will see it. Sometimes when we send these resumes that we don't know, but someone that is recruiting will be like, what's this? Then when they ask you, they'll just choose a line and you're lost because you copied it from different places. So you need to know your resume. Those are interviews. The interviews, be professional. Know the tools. You'll be shocked how some people still don't know how to use Zoom. It looks simple, but I face this. I still had an interview yesterday morning. They had to postpone it till today because the guy's Zoom was not working. His video was not working. He couldn't share his screen. This was a developer interview that he needed to share his screen. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is 2022. It looks simple, but practice it. Remember, this like was telling me that they'll make sure I said, my light is always good because I do this every time. I have a light in my room. You can't see it because it's part of what, you have to sell yourself. You don't want anything to cut you short because you'll be shocked how those Indians, they've perfected these things. They're so good at it and it works for them. So we Nigerians need to start placing ourselves. We need to be intentional about what we do. Good environment, avoid noise interference. That happens a lot. You hear babies crying. Americans, see, when you know the system, you'll be able to understand. Even when your baby is crying, there's a way you can turn it around. But that's what we do. We just have to. So if you don't know that system yet, how to play that family card, just make sure you're at least for that period. Tell them this job, at the end of it, by the time we get the job, all of us will enjoy it together. So know your resume. Be in a good place and be professional about it. What I've seen is, especially now that I talk to Nigerians, there's this entitlement that comes that, oh my brother, I will get this job. I'll try to place you in front of the client. But if you're not professional, one of my guys is a senior Scrum Master. So he interviewed a Nigerian. They told him, he works in this thing, one of the oil companies in this thing. He interviewed a Nigerian for his Scrum Master role to come work in this place. And immediately that guy saw him. The guy just started speaking pidgin. Oh, my brother, blah, 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 blah. This was a professional interview. Meanwhile, his bosses were in the office. They were not just, it was Zoom. So he was like the way you're saying, you won't know if people are beside. And the guy was trying to be professional with him. And this guy was speaking, he was speaking English back. The guy kept speaking English, pidgin. This was a professional interview. So of course, they didn't hire him. This Nigerian went on LinkedIn. You look for him on LinkedIn and he sent him a message on LinkedIn that, now so Nigerian people, they always cut ourselves. He insulted him. The guy wanted to post his message on LinkedIn. I was the one that begged him that please just allow him, you get another job somewhere. Because if he had blasted that message out, that might be the end of his professional career. But whose fault? If I see you outside and you're telling my brother and we are being professional, it's a job. I am not, don't feel like when we are home, it's a job. Even when you have Nigerians working, be professional. I want the situation whereby when you hire Nigerians, you are sure they will deliver. So that when they see a Nigerian resume, there's some places that they know Nigerians are hardworking. They know that. But we just need to prove ourselves. Don't stop learning. I share my education because I have a friend. I don't want to mention his name. Anytime I look at his LinkedIn profile, I'm always challenged. He's always taking one course. He's always taking a training. He's always taking a certification. Why? You have to keep updating yourself. Mr. King, when I met him, he was SAP. Do you still do SAP, sir? You have to keep updating yourself. You have to. He trained me in SAP. And now he said, you have to keep updating yourself. A lot of us, we just get that job and just sit down. Don't stop learning. Something as simple as Microsoft Word, Excel. You got a developer job. Now you have to do a presentation. Excel classes are like $100 or watch YouTube. We have to. I've seen a lot of people that have that skill set, but all these little things, Microsoft Word, you can format a Word document and you're sharing your screen. It just shows, Mr. Aki was talking about leadership. People they don't just choose people. They want competent people. So why should Microsoft Word be the one limiting me from getting to that next level? Maintain a good professional network. This is a very good one that we have. You need a good, I told you about my relationship with Mr. Aki. We've gone beyond professional. When I wanted to start this period, I called him that this is what I'm trying to do. When I wanted to go independent, I called him. You need that kind of network. Not even within Nigerians alone. You need to, if I say it there, how many of us have Oyinbo friends? You'll be shocked. A lot of us are just restricted to Nigerian environment. We are talking about that upper level, that management. You need someone wearing your shirts wherever you are at work. You need someone that is, because when they're making those decisions, I'm sure there's no Nigerian there. Maybe there's just one Nigerian or two. You need someone that is wearing your shirt, that this Emmanuel, I can vouch for him. A lot of us are too tiwa, like, oh, just my people. We need to mix more. You have to be strategic. There are some decisions I've taken lately. I can't share. Not because but because I've known that, see, if you have, let's be sincere, this is not a black country. And we'll be sincere. I'll give you an example. There's this client we're trying to get. They already signed an agreement with us to be their vendor. We kept reaching out to the HR, but HR people, they don't like staffing because they feel we are taking their job. So the HR did not call us. For a long time, I was sending them emails. So I called my business development manager, White, say, what's going on with these guys that they've not sent us a job description for a long time. Do you know what that guy said? He said, don't worry, Mano. The owner of that company, I went to college with his son. Don't worry. He called the son. The son called his father. This is the largest, they do deliveries, like logistics deliveries within Dallas, in Dallas. I don't want to mention their name. The next day, the HR sent me an email. The man, can we block time on your calendar to go through our job requirements? These are people I've been sending emails to for 2 weeks. But because of my connection, the guy called so you can't just limit yourself to the Nigerian environment. It's good, but we need to expand more. If you want to get to the top, the Indians are at the top now. The CEO of Microsoft is Indian, but before him, Bill Gates was there. So Bill Gates must have liked him for him to champion him. So we can't just say Nigeria. We have to move beyond that. That's what's going on. Then you need to pay your dues. Pay your dues. I mentioned it. If you have to go to work, go to work. If you have to go on site, go on site. Pay your dues. Then go. We need to keep going. Thank you. I'll stop there. If you have any question, I can take any question. And thank you so much. This is at least, I'll stop here.
Oh, Lord, my God. Can we all, show love and just round of applause? I feel like I'm muting everybody, but this place will go crazy right now. But, oh, boy. I mean, oof. Okay, let me unmute for a second, everybody. Let's just appreciate and just...
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Thank you. Yes. We love it.
Really appreciate
the
value
to come again.
you just put out here is not even quantifiable. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So, I mean, guys, this is amazing. All I can say is, Emmanuel, I mean, amazing delivery. You didn't disappoint at all. And for your record, this is the first time in the history of our program we've gone beyond 9:05. you know, and
I'm
it's
sorry.
because it's no. I mean, we love it so much that everybody just said, "Hey, let him keep talking, let him keep talking." I mean, and honestly, this is just amazing. I mean, I have zero to say beside if you can indulge us and you know we can coordinate. We would love you to come back for sure. There's so much I feel you know, you've opened, you know, and guys, I was just taking notes crazy. I know Sean said, you know, I was a mentor a while back. He's my mentor now, people. So that's the way life is, you know. I have to take notes. Amazing, amazing job. I mean, all I can say is, you know, I'm proud of all you do. Your insight, your knowledge is just unbelievable right now. It's a different level. And guys, you know, every one of this information is to make us better people, more seasoned, knowledgeable consultants. And, you know, I challenge us to aspire, you know, to grow more. I would like one person to give us a comment before we wrap up, then I'll wrap up. Um, Yemi Salau, just give us one or two comments. You know, Yemi has been a great mentor in our
We took
community.
SAP. We took
Yeah.
SAP.
So, you know, someone I would like to just let me find you, Yemi. Don't run away from us. And unmute Yemi also. I mean, just give us one or two words. We've all come a long way together. So I would like him to say one or two.
I want to say something. You know, Emmanuel, you owe me a call, oh. He knows what I'm saying. For years, Emmanuel was supposed to call me back. We'll talk later. I won't go. But one thing I want to say about Emmanuel is that I was taking the SAP class, and you know, with all humility, Emmanuel knows where he was staying at that time, you know, and everything. You know, just put it like this, was a hostel.
Yes.
You know, and Emmanuel came, you know, because I was friends with one of his friends, Bolaji at the time. You know, he was taking the class with me. So Emmanuel came, mind you, Emmanuel has taken his SAP class, I'm thinking months ago. Emmanuel could say the about me off the top of his head. You know, and that even got me scared. And I was like, I have to do more work. You know, I don't know if Emmanuel remembers that.
I remember that discussion.
Yeah, he said it off the top of his head. So, you know, he's the real deal. And he was, he came to join me with CSC. Then I remember when he had that decision of going independent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, before I knew he left the company, he didn't even, you know, couldn't find him anymore. But this was a very, very good discussion, you know, and everything he said was so true. There's so many opportunities, and it involves sacrifice. I even called out one of my friends that was in this discussion that dropped. I'm like, in this thing, man, we sometimes sacrifice, you know. Right now, as much as I hate, I'm on the client side, you know, but it is what you got to do. But sometimes it takes sacrifice. And one of the motivational speakers I used to listen to says this, you know, if something that's going to make the rest of your life good, so if it means temporary discomfort, you know, go for it. I tell people, I'm not that much of a sleeper, but if it requires you taking out of your sleeping time, that you can have enough, you know, time, you know, for your family and many things, you know, go for it. Anyway, Manuel, I'm proud of you. You still owe me a call, but like you said, Akin has been a good mentor to all of us. I don't want to talk too much, and you know, but he gave a lot of good notes. And like Akin said, we need network. We have somebody that's even in there into staffing, which I didn't even notice, even though I'm following him on LinkedIn. But I have so many LinkedIn's, you know, after Emmanuel, you know, come big boy, he doesn't even return anybody's phone call. But I didn't even know he's into staffing. But the thing is that we have someone inside doing staffing. Guys, we got to take advantage of this. And I'll leave at that note.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. And guys, again, we appreciate your time. Emmanuel, amazing. I appreciate you a lot, man.
Thank you, sir.
Love, bro. And for everybody, thank you for your patience and your time. Let's go for it. We always say one thing a long time ago, we say we got guts. You know, Nelson, one of our heroes, is there too. So many of you guys, man, we got guts. So My love to you all. Thank you so much, guys, and Godspeed. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.